Hello everyone, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here at $1.42. Earlier today, XRP bounced just above resistance and then came back down. Are we going to see another push up through resistance happen in the short term? And I'm telling you now, the 1 week chart looks so damn bullish. Here's where we bounced off resistance, came back down. Now we're going sideways, setting up for another push upward. Let's see what happens over the next 24 hours. And here's Bitcoin on the 1 day. The chart looks almost identical. Bitcoin sitting just above 81K, and everybody's still calling for an $85,000 Bitcoin by the end of the week. If that happens, of course, the rest of crypto will run up with it because we are all still following Bitcoin still. And here's the Fear and Greed Index, still holding in neutral at 50. I think people are becoming more comfortable with crypto now. I think people are realizing, hey, the market isn't bouncing back down the way we've seen it happen in the past. And now things are starting to look a lot better going forward. You're starting to see a lot of new people entering this space at the same time. I see them all over X. And how you know someone's new to crypto? They're asking those questions like, what crypto should I be investing in right now? How do I get started with crypto? What about this whole KYC, AML on the exchanges? Is it safe to give the exchanges my information? Those are normal questions coming from people just getting into crypto. The odds of a permanent U.S.-Iran peace deal this year soared to record highs, 77% chance. If we get that peace deal, that is going to be huge. And you couple that with clarity happening by July 4th, which that's now the deadline they're shooting for, this could be one hell of a summer for XRP holders. Crypto is not dead. It's transitioning like it does every cycle. Pivot to incorporate it into the next wave. Take a listen to this.
What happens if we don't get it before the midterms? Is it dead?
Well, I think the president has been very clear that the United States is going to be the crypto capital of the world. I think today it is the crypto capital of the world with Genius and the end of regulation by enforcement and everything we've done at the regulatory level. But it's really important we get legislation that locks that in. And so we've been all hands on deck pushing to get this done. We're hoping for a markup this month. And hopefully next month we can get this on the floor for a vote and maybe ring in the 250th anniversary with some crypto legislation.
Like I said, they're shooting for July 4th, but crypto is not dead. You know, even if clarity didn't happen in the United States, crypto is still going to push forward everywhere else in the world. That's why I don't understand why these politicians are still listening to the banks. It's time to get something done. They called XRP dead in 2023. Now $10 is closer than you think. You know, 2022, I think, was even worse for XRP. It was worse for crypto. We had the Luna crash, we had FTX, and 22 was absolutely horrible. And it wasn't that XRP was dead. It was that nobody believed back then that it would ever go back above $1. We were stuck at 50 cents for such a long period of time. And I kept telling people back then, now's the time you want to load up. Now, what is everybody hoping for? That XRP dips back to 50 cents again so they can pack their bags. It's like everything in crypto. You know, everybody sits back and doesn't want to buy it when it's going sideways. But the second it breaks out, they all want to travel back in time to buy it at cheaper prices. And the same thing is going to happen when it breaks out again, because I believe we're going to see a new all-time high very soon for XRP. And when that happens, people are going to have a lot of regret. because they could have been buying it at today's price. Instead, they're chasing green candles. Currently reading Ripple price analysis. Next 48 hours will be crucial for XRP's future. And again, they're talking about a rise above $1.50. That's why I said $1.50, breaking through that is so important right now. All of a sudden, we go on to $1.80, then above $2, and so on. But we first got to get through resistance. We broke just above it earlier today, and I thought, here we go. But it came back down. Now it looks like XRP is going sideways, building strength for another push up. Will we see it this week? I'm really hoping that happens. And here's the XRP ETF tracker, $20.78 million in volume. The volume is rising on the ETFs as well. Like I said, any little price movement upward, you could expect this number to change. Just wait until XRP moves by a dime or a quarter. All of a sudden, you'll see the daily volume around $100 million. We've seen, I think, 79 point something was the high so far. Just wait until XRP really breaks out. The FOMO on the ETFs is going to be absolutely insane. Wait and see. Whales may be front-running XRP's next move by having a heavy hand on exchange outflows. So what's going on is this. On Binance, about 91% of XRP outflows are coming from large holders, while retail barely registers 8%. So when everybody says that retail is selling off their XRP, this shows something different. It looks like retail maybe is selling off around 8% or so, or maybe retail is just moving into cold wallets. Everybody always says 99% of people won't make it till XRP reaches the much higher price points. And I just don't believe that anymore. I think you could have said that back in 2021, 2022. But I think retail is growing up with XRP. So in other words, what I'm saying is people aren't that eager anymore to sell their XRP for US dollars. Sure, people are going to take profit, but I don't think they're going to sell their entire bag. And these outflows that continue to happen, this is institutions, in my opinion, moving large amounts of XRP off the exchanges into cold wallets. And as that continues to happen, we get closer and closer to scarcity. Financial analysis shares timeline. Analysts shares timeline for XRP to reach $8 to $12. So this analyst is saying that it could happen by April 2027. I keep seeing people now saying because this run was an extended run that we're going to run into next year with XRP and altcoins. And I think we're going to see a major run-up start very soon, but I think we're going to see a transition happen, especially if clarity gets put in place. Because all of a sudden, meme coins are going to be dying off. A lot of altcoins that people think are great projects, they're going to die off as well. Because most of these cryptocurrencies that are popping up now, they have a great roadmap and they have a great white paper. But then there's absolutely no growth. I think that money is going to shift as these coins die off under the Clarity Act. So that could push us into next year. Also, you got to take into account that there's going to be a lot of tokenization happening in the second half of this year. So how does the price of XRP come down? It really doesn't. It would just continue upward, grinding upward momentum on XRP going into next year. Now, if you're planning on selling some of your XRP at like $10 or $12, most likely that's going to happen inside of 2026. Now, if you're looking for higher prices, maybe $30, $40 for XRP, that's most likely going to happen early next year. Unless tokenization picks up a lot of momentum out of the gate, all of a sudden we could be looking at a 3-digit XRP by the end of this year, because we also have to factor in the possibility of scarcity as well. I'm telling you, when FOMO picks up, you're going to have retail FOMO, ETF FOMO, institutional FOMO, and XRP is going to be disappearing in very large amounts over a short period of time. That's why I believe that by the end of this year, there is still a chance we see a 3-digit XRP. This comes from Dark Defender. History doesn't repeat, she rhymes. Cup 1 plus 1,008%. Cup 2, another 1,008%. She points to Polaris. The bear walked us there. The coronation will take place. When the hidden star appears, once is luck, twice is law. The phoenix flies north. So here's what he's showing. So the first run up, remember, I always said that 2017-2018 run, we are still at the bottom. And this would show that right here. So the first run up would take us somewhere above $50. Then a slight pullback, maybe down just under $20. But then he's showing another push up into the hundreds of dollars, somewhere around $500 per XRP. And look at the timeline, early 2027. That would actually make a lot of sense. Think about it. You have institutional adoption happening. You have ETFs going crazy. I'm talking about these ETF filers buying up a ton of XRP day after day. Then you got retail FOMO happening at the same time. It's the perfect setup for this cryptocurrency. Even the AI models are still saying we could see scarcity inside of 2026. So imagine the price spikes that we could possibly see at the end of this year. It is a crazy time to be an XRP investor. ONDO Finance, XXX by JPMorgan, MasterCard, and Ripple completed a pilot connecting the XRP ledger with interbank settlement rails for tokenized U.S. Treasuries. The transaction settled across borders and banking systems in near real time, outside traditional banking hours, marking a major step towards 24/7 global markets. But wait, I thought no banks are ever going to utilize the XRP ledger. Now you have ONDO, JPMorgan, MasterCard, and Ripple running pilots after business hours inside the traditional banking system or outside the traditional banking system. And that's huge because that tells you that everything is already moving towards 24/7 global markets. This is going to be absolutely huge by the end of this year because the banks are now accelerating as well. First, it's the big banks. It's the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and so on. They are always the first movers. They always get the upper hand on the smaller banks. Now, the smaller banks, they see this and they're like, well, if we want to stay alive, we got to get on board with this as soon as possible. All of a sudden, you're back to that network effect again. Here comes XRP. XRP back over $2 in quarter two. Everybody wants XRP to achieve a new all-time high. I think it's because a lot of people bought at higher prices. And absolutely, you are going to see a new all-time high for XRP. Will it happen in quarter two? We really don't know yet. The one thing that everybody overlooks is the fact that when XRP moves, it moves very fast. So all of a sudden, you're sitting here at $1.42, and then you wake up tomorrow and XRP is sitting above $2 again, possibly even $3. We're very close to that happening. You could see how the structure is getting stronger and stronger for XRP. Even the fact that Bitcoin is back above 80K, that tells you that we are at the early signs of a bull market again. if Bitcoin continues upward from here, we're going to have a better timeline for alt season as well. Because as Bitcoin continues to climb up and you start to watch the dominance begin to fall, that solidifies it. That tells us exactly when we could see alt season. But like I always tell you, until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.